And so that's why Jack's mother canonically has to be Morpheus Duval. Now retain this information, there's a test on Friday. Alrighty, let's sit down here and see what's on the news. Okay, people hate Requiem for some reason. Alright, fair enough. More rumors of a Zero and Code Veronica remake for 2027. Sounds about right. Resident Evil Survival Unit drop. Oh, and looks like that Hunt game got canceled. Well, wait a minute. If that does end up being the case for Survival Unit, and I'm going to predict it's going to be September of this year that's going to get released. If that ends up being true, you come back to this video. I called it. Oh, fuck. I was half right. The game soft launched in Australia and Southeast Asia in September. I was half right. September 3rd. Hey there, how you doing? Resident Evil Survival Unit, a brand new mobile game coming to us straight from Capcom and oh wait, I already did this bit. What is this game? What's it about? Is it good? All of these questions answered and more coming up next.
And now, our feature presentation.
A mobile strategy game, you're gathering an army to fight off growing numbers of infected in an alternate universe, and kinda? Maybe? Alright, so, for clarity, at the moment I am at the end of episode 4, that's what they call stages. My mansion is level 10 and my combat power is over 1 million. So at this point I think I've seen most of what the game has to offer and I feel that I have accrued the necessary amount of knowledge and authority to relate to you, my beloved and dearest audience, that Resident Evil Survival Unit is a game that exists. But before I get into my opinion that is clearly the right one, let's talk about what all you get out of this game. First off, there's like 4 different game modes in this. You have the traditional survival horror segments that are strictly story related. You have the Horde Defense mode, which is the real meat and potatoes of this game and has the most in-depth gameplay loop. You have the PvP arena that you can watch the same 5 characters fight each other. And finally you have the strategy field mode where you will spend an unreasonably long amount of time for how shallow it is. So let's start by taking a look at the best part of the game. Okay, so these are like 5 to 10 minute segments of controlling the main character and trekking through small levels and solving puzzles and exploring. These are easily the best part of the game and honestly makes me believe a mobile game entirely in this style could actually work very well. I mean, these segments are so faithful to traditional Resident Evil that when the camera switches angles, your character will run face first into a wall if you don't correct your finger on the analog stick. Absolutely classic. However, while I do enjoy these segments, they are very bare bones and you will encounter at most like 4 zombies within one segment. And each zombie goes down with like 5 shots, exactly. Oh, look at that, you get an inventory. This must mean we can get other weapons and gadgets. No! You get 1 pistol, and you will always have enough ammo to deal with every single enemy that you encounter. I did find a first aid spray once, but I never used it. These levels do have notes from other survivors talking about some unimportant stuff, but it's mostly like 2 pages of day 1. Day 2. The passcode is 1, 2, 3, 4. Day 3. I've been bitten. I can feel the virus clawing through my veins. I know what's to come, what I'll become. I'm convinced they intend to kill me. Alright, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. If it wasn't for me, my brother would have been in the exact same situation, and now he's in the other room levying for my death? Joke. What a sick fucking joke. Son of a bitch doesn't deserve to even breathe, much less talk. If it's the last thing I do, I'll make sure to sink my teeth into that fat neck of his. These levels are essentially just vehicles to get you to the puzzles, which are, again, very basic, and some are just straight up the same from the remakes. These segments aren't really bad as more as they are shallow, which will become a running theme as you'll see soon enough. So, moving on. This mode is pretty much where they put most of their eggs, and this is probably the most disappointing. So essentially you pick a formation of 3 characters, of which will be one of 3 classes. So you have your guard, the character who essentially tanks Umbrella's nastiest creations with their face. These characters are also the only ones you have some control over within these levels, and can move from a couple of separate positions. Changing positions can allow enemies to change course to attack them, and the guards can use their flashlights to allow your other two supporting characters to land their shots a bit better. Which leads me to the attacker class, which is supposed to be your main damage dealer. That's all I really got for the class description as a whole. Really, that's about the same with the ranger class, which seems to focus more on dealing damage in an area and sometimes supporting your other heroes, which this is one of my main issues with this mode. I'm going to trail off for a minute. The class system doesn't really differentiate enough between two of the three classes. Guard is fine and works fine, but the attacker and ranger have far too much overlap in how they operate. Yes, the ranger class does have more support options with its abilities, but it doesn't lean hard enough into that support role, like for example this one here. For Mikhail, he rolls an explosive barrel and deals damage in a small area. This is his first ability and is just straight damage. It doesn't stun or slow anything. This isn't like Brad's sign throw. Funny little detail, I do like that. That does deal damage in a small area, but can also stun enemies. Or this one with Barry Burton. All three of his abilities are just upgrading his damage, so why isn't he an attacker? Now, I know the Ranger isn't explicitly said to be a support role. In fact, it doesn't say anything at all what these classes are supposed to do. But this does just make it feel like two of these classes serve the same purpose, which is to deal damage. But addressing this point ultimately feels moot considering the fact that most of these skills have very little depth within how they're used. The guard characters are the only ones that can really change how you play these stages, and each of the guard characters have vastly different ways of playing. Marvin can summon barricades to stall enemies from coming from a certain direction. Mark Wilkins guards against enemies and takes less damage while doing so, and can regenerate health in between engagements. And Robert Kendo can continuously stall and slow enemies non-stop. But other character skills are either randomly activated or happen on a timer like Claire's Spark Shot. These skills are often blink and you miss it, and they very rarely make a difference. I know I trailed off and talked about heroes too much, so let me pull it back. How does this mode play? Oh god, who cares? Just turn on autoplay. Yep, that's right. This mode, which is probably the mode they intended you to get the most attached to, can be pretty much skipped. Now, to be fair, if you do this, you can't activate environmental hazards or move your guard to a different position. But that doesn't really matter, because as long as your character's numbers are high enough, you will probably beat the stage. No problem. Why do I keep trailing off on unnecessary tangents when talking about this mode? Why don't I just explain how these stages play out? Am I just avoiding talking about how this mode plays because it's very shallow and each stage blends together so much that there isn't really anything to talk about concerning the mode itself and not just the stuff around it? Okay, fine. If you want to know how this mode plays, I'll just show you. There, you happy? It's a horde defense with the occasional boss, and sometimes there's more than 2 lanes where enemies can come from. That's it. So what do I like about this mode? It's cool seeing enemies from throughout the series that haven't gotten their remake debut, like the giant spider or the gravedigger. Guard characters are actually useful. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The mode is shallow, and the existence of the autoplay button just leads me to believe that the devs didn't trust the players to want to actually play the mode. So it just feels like a hollow experience. Whew, sorry, that went on way too long. Let's move on to the next mode. And this is a mode where you take 5 of your characters and you fight someone else's 5 characters and hope that your 5 kills their 5 faster. But you will never lose at this mode. Never. Because you will be put up against players who are inherently weaker. So if your number is bigger, you win. That's it. That's the mode. The only strategy here is to consider what characters you put here in the back, because they will have cover. But why you wouldn't just put 2 attackers back here is beyond me. You don't win anything either. You don't get resources if you win or lose. You just lose this rank that ultimately means nothing.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Just like this mode, it's a shallow nothing. Moving on. Okay, here it is, the mode I knew would be here, and it is exactly as I feared. This is your strategy game, and I say that lightly as this is the most bare bones, nothing mode in this game. You recruit troops and lead your heroes who use an entirely different set of skills that are also a whole lot of nothing to slowly march across this map to perform a stilted animation and then slowly march back, and you get resources. That's it. Oh wait, sorry. You can attack other players' bases for resources, though I'm not entirely sure why you would, because getting resources in this game is piss easy, and attacking someone's base opens you up to being attacked yourself, which can lead you to just losing the resources that you would have just obtained from them. There's raids, but these are just the same as every other attack in this mode. It's nothing. There's nothing to this, and that's exactly what I expected, because this is just like those PNG strategy games that littered the App Store back in the 2010s. It's watching a PNG crawl across the screen, and then it tells you you won for pushing a button. Okay, so that's all the game modes, but what about the base building? There's no base building. You can't customize your base other than your mansion after you spend real money. You just upgrade your buildings to make more resources. You can use those resources to upgrade your buildings, and there's nothing else. There's nothing else to it. Okay. So what about the gacha system? Is it bad or is it awful? It's fine. Yeah, honestly, it's fine. I've already earned most of the available characters, and you get like 10 free pulls every single day. The way you earn characters is by pulling for files, and when you earn 10 files, you unlock that character, but sometimes you can actually just have a chance to unlock the full character themselves without needing the files. Upgrading them is the same way. You collect files to increase their star level, and you use resources to level them up, and the resources you need to level them up are plentiful. Now, I'm sure there is a wall that you'll hit that incentivizes you to use real money, but the gems that you use as the premium currency is given out very graciously, so it's really a non-issue. So the gacha system is unironically one of the more redeeming parts of this game. But what about the story? So far the story isn't really complete, but you are essentially just trying to explore the mansion you've set up in, and fuck you, wait till they're done making it.
Sir, will you please stop staring at me?
Where's the rest of you?
So here we are at the end, and what are we left with? A shallow but potentially cool survival horror mode that does seem like it had some thought put into it, but are far too sparse and way too short. A kind of interesting but shallow mode where you can literally skip the stages if your numbers are high enough. A PvP mode that is ultimately pointless and has zero rewards for playing it. And a zero depth, zero fun, basically idle PNG strategy game mode that just screams shallow, as well as a shallow base builder and a surprisingly fair gacha system. So what is my final opinion? It's nothing. It's inoffensive. It's shallow. That's the running theme throughout my time playing this game. It's like Raid Shadow Legends. It's a seemingly wide and expansive game with tons of different modes and things to do, but it's got the depth of a puddle. I don't feel anything playing this game, and that's honestly the worst thing a game could be, I think. Nothing. At least with a game like Umbrella Corps, I actually feel something while I'm playing it. Mostly anger and disappointment, but with Survival Unit, it feels like washing the dishes. Yeah, it's something to do if I've got nothing else, I guess, but it's not like I want to come back to it. Honestly, it feels like this game got stretched out over too much bread. It's like they wanted to make a game that could be a cool survival horror game, but they didn't want to commit because that would be hard to monetize, so they went with a strategy game. Okay, I guess that could work, but they didn't want to make it too complex, so they decided to make it a defense game mode with heroes. See what I mean? If they just picked one direction, I believe they could have made something awesome. Honestly, an entire mobile game like the survival horror levels could work and could be really good, but it seems like Capcom and Aniplex were just too scared to commit to a single path. But that's all I really had. Do you like Survival Unit? Did you not? Did I waste my time making this video so late? Let me know in the comments. But you know the drill. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and also check me out on Twitch as well. I try to stream every other day, but that may change in the future. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I hope to see y'all in the next one. Bye.